From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. I wanted to say good morning, everybody out there. It's nice to see you. Happy Thursday. We are doing our morning breaking news case updates. There's a lot of stuff going on right now as the Sebastian Rogers case is kind of chilling out. We're getting some new information about several other cases that we are going to be going over here. If you guys haven't heard, the fifth person has been arrested in both of these cases. His name is Paul Grice. Paul Grice was named in the affidavit kind of early on. There he is right there, a family man from, according to friends of this man, and how he could help take care. And he's fully involved in several aspects of this crime, and how he could take two mothers away from their children makes me sick. There are still many other people that I believe need to be part of this family and arrest. So we have the brother, Wrangler, and his brother. Wrangler is Veronica's, I guess, baby's daddy, and the in-laws are who unalived her. So I don't really want to go too much into that. If you guys haven't heard that, do your own research and, find out more information about that. But I think there's going to be more arrests. I think that I think a lot of people knew about this and a lot of people participated in it. Guys, this is Elijah Vu. This is another case we haven't really covered because the Sebastian Rogers case has kind of really taken the forefront, as that case is it's not winding down. There's a lot of support. We're still searching for him. There's no real new information. So I'm switching gears here to give you guys some updates on cases that we haven't covered in just a little bit. And here is one of them, and it's Elijah Vu. He is the 3-year-old missing out of Two Rivers, Wisconsin. And so I was doing some research this morning, and Katrina, Elijah's mom, her mother, so Elijah's grandmother, has had a lot to say over the last few days and in some articles that she has spoken with media about. And this is one where she just gives us a little insight on what law enforcement told her when they had arrested Katrina. And she says that Katrina remained calm. She was, and I think the investigators called me that night and said she was cold. Whether she was detached or in denial, I don't know. That's from her mother. And then it goes on to say that at the time she was still believing he just walked out the door. Her mother saying in her theory, Two Rivers Police Department that it's a theory, but Two Rivers Police Department has ruled that out. She also thinks that she doesn't think Trina knows more, because if she did, she would have broke by now. And this, again, coming from her mother. And I kind of tend to believe her mother, because her mother has not been easy on her. Throughout this, her mother has demanded that she stay in jail. She wants to know where her grandson is. She knows that, and she goes into telling about how her daughter, has this substance abuse issue. So here's another one. You'll find you find yourself, this is what she's doing. This is the grandmother. She says she finds herself driving alone. She's looking in ditches. She's looking in lakes. She's looking everywhere, farm fields. And it's just you. It's the trauma doesn't stop because there's no closure. Grandma's highly upset. They just want to know she wants to know where her grandson is. We're still looking for Elijah Vu, and there's no real good information out there. They have searched high and low. The large search parties really haven't stopped. Women are out there every single day, and they have been since day one, searching for this precious baby boy. And to all those searchers, God bless you. I don't know you. I hoped one day I do, but God bless you. Because I can't imagine, I remember seeing one of the searchers that doesn't know this boy and doesn't know this family at the court hearing. And when she came out, she was in tears. She was crying. She's like, I just want this boy found. It's heartbreaking. It truly is just heartbreaking. Now, this is not really anything, of substance other than, I'm sure you guys heard of Bexar County. This is kind of where everything was going on in the Audrey Cunningham case. We do have a little bit of an update on the Audrey Cunningham case as well. But there's some things going on here where the sheriff was asked to provide resources for, and this is unrelated, for the, why can't I think of the name of the law enforcement? Not Secret Service. Was it Secret Service? No, it wasn't Secret Service. What's the one? It's on the tip of my tongue, but they go all over the country. I don't know why. I can't spit it out. I just read it. But long story short, this particular department did not give this law enforcement agency backup to go execute a high, threat warrant. And so there was some record requests done, and we found out that the sheriff declined to help because of political purposes. And so they were thrown off. And I just thought that was weird because, we've got Audrey Cunningham. There's a grand jury indictment finally for Stephen McDougal. If you guys know, he was in jail for unrelated charges in her disappearance and death. He was in there for another altercation with a different person when he violence with a weapon, something like that. But he is now officially charged with 2 counts of capital murder charges. 2 counts, not 1, which I've always thought was really funny. I know they do that because if for any reason, if they have it set up a way where law enforcement, they don't get indicted or don't get convicted of one, they can digress to the other one, I guess. But I've never understood how somebody can have one person and have multiple death charges. It's a thing called stacking that I really just don't agree with at all. Let me just see if there's anything else. And here, I thought this was, and then we're going to get on to some Sebastian Rogers stuff. Right here. I can't for the life of me. I really can't. Some people are just as stupid can get. This lady here, Sarah Harris, right here, kind of gets the Stupid Criminal of the Year award, where she gets bad, and decides to call in the the dealer and file a report for getting bad stuff. What? This is the reason why you should just say no. Where's the quality control? I don't know, but they're fired. And, if they're not fired, then she's going to report them to law enforcement. But you can't make this stuff up. up. You can't make this stuff up. Our criminal of the year right here. What a peach. What a peach. I would say that stuff's probably fried her brain, and she probably needs some serious help. I mean, all joking set aside. But Sarah Harris, 34, decides to call the dope dealer in. She calls the cops on the dope dealer. Oh, good Lord heavens to Betsy. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Lastly, you guys know Scott Peterson, Casey, well, I don't know. Some people are just a little too young for this particular case, but Scott Peterson was accused of unaliving his pregnant wife around Christmas time, and because he was dating another woman. And the woman didn't even know he was married, and she was just a few counties over or something like that. I'm just going off memory. Do your own research if you really want fact-based reporting on this case. So the only fact-based reporting I'm reporting on this is that, the LA Innocence Project picked up his case, and they're reevaluating everything. There were some things that were brought up, some things that apparently weren't tested, and they're using that as the crux of this. So it does look like, he is... things are moving in a positive direction for Scott Peterson. This is a case that I remember personally. And there we go. Understand personally, but it still has always bothered me. It really has. You know what I'm saying? This case, I look for motive, means, and opportunity, and he had motive, means, and opportunity, and he took a boat out, and she just happens to be somewhere where he had his boat. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to figure this out. I understand everybody need DNA testing, and you need to connect this dot to this dot to this dot to this dot to this dot, and you got to do it before a jury, and they got to say, all right, we agree with the state, Well, they did do that. And so now we have this Innocence Project coming in because of a couple things that weren't acknowledged during trial. And this man deserves to be behind bars. I don't believe in a million years that this man could not have done it. But you know what? If they're going to convince, then convince. Prove it. I think anybody, in my opinion, if they are innocent and truly are innocent, they should have an opportunity to prove that. I don't believe it. But what say you? Should he get the opportunity? I mean, the courts are going to decide this anyways. But his team. This is what it says. It says district attorney files response opposing a motion by Scott Peterson's defense team for DNA testing. There were, I think, bedding and a van that was set on fire. I think that those two things are the things that weren't tested. And albeit those, to me, were in close proximity enough that, I love the law. And in all fairness, whether I like, Scott Peterson or not, if I believe in the justice system, they were close enough in proximity, they should have been excluded, in my opinion. Right? Because I have to look at these people's cases and say, what if I was in that defendant's seat? Whether I like the person or not, right? Do I feel like this would be violating my rights? Sometimes you got to ask yourself that, because sometimes you're so biased against somebody that you can literally say something that you would not want happening to you if the shoe was on the other foot. So you got to make sure you're looking at this as if you're sitting right there too. And that's kind of how I look at it. And quite frankly, the van bothers me. Personally, hearing about the van, I was completely blissfully unaware about this van during the trial itself. So hearing about this van all these years later makes me a little frustrated, because I think the van and the officer that was pushing this through, I think he was like a fire marshal or something like that. Like, he was pushing this through. I can't remember what he was, whether he was the fire marshal or he was an officer investigating the case or not. He knew about this. He brought this up to them. It was a viable lead that should have been exhausted, and it wasn't. And that's a problem for me. let's not forget he was talking to Amber, his mistress, while at Lacey's vigil. Exactly. You know, I mean, and that was right. It's Amber. Amber was the mistress that had no, and I feel bad for her because I'm sure for the rest of her life she's going to wonder if, because of her relationship, if that's the reason, which I really do believe it is. But she had no culpability, and she didn't know about it. She didn't even know about this, Lacey at all. She didn't know about this other woman, his wife, right? I thought they did do DNA testing years ago, but this was specific for new evidence. So when you're convicted of, at least my understanding, I'll say that, do your own research, but when you're convicted of a crime, typically one of the easiest ways to get a new trial is to go before a court with an evidentiary hearing showing that you found new evidence that could exonerate whomever is in jail. So they're going through this process, and that new evidence, which is this van and this mattress that was burnt and some kind of, I think it's a blanket maybe, if I recall. You might want to go read some of the articles. But I think it's that stuff that hasn't been tested. And that's what they want tested, because they think that holds the key to show he couldn't have done it because she was kidnapped from a home, like a home invasion or something like that, and she was put in the back of this van. So I think that's the DNA testing that they want. That would be, everything that I've been following in the case, that would be my best assumption. But again, go read the articles. 'Cause I didn't really read through all of this when I was just letting you guys know of the changes and what updates are going on. But I did provide updates on this case, and I actually think if you go into my TikTok videos, you should scroll up until you see his face, because I did an update with all the new information related to the van and the DNA testing. There should be like 1, 2, or 3 videos down there about him. I think I did it just a couple months ago, so it shouldn't be too far down in the reel if you want to go there and check out some of the Scott Peterson work that I've already done, and it'll bring you up to speed to where we are with this whole information right here. So there was a robbery across the street. Yep. And it was right around the same time. Yep. That's exactly right, out west. That is exactly right. What else do we have? Missy, yes, she still works with. I still work with Olivia. See, the difference is Olivia. We used to travel a lot together, and of course, last year I kind of stayed home, which hinders her just a little bit. And so we just now started getting out. I think we just did like the Layla Santinello together, which was just a little bit over the last few months. And then, we're going to be working on some other projects together. But, but right now she's in the process of moving. So, she's not in Florida anymore. She moved to North Carolina. I think her house might just about be done. So they're in the process of moving in, or at least still getting the repairs done to, their home that they purchased. So just a lot of just little things going on and going around, and, she's got her things going on, and once she gets settled, and I've got my things going on, so once I get settled, everything will be kosher. But, I mean, you guys got to remember, Olivia and I are both independent. We're not... we collaborate together a lot because, 1, we like working together. We work well together, and 2, it helps split the cost of these trips, because we cover the same type of cases, but we do it in a different way. She has this amazing video gift, this amazing eye and attention to detail that I've never seen before. I really haven't. I know a lot of people, that are jealous of her, try to put her down and everything about, oh, it's easy to do this. Dude, if it was easy to do that, everybody would be putting together videos like Olivia puts together, period. Like that girl is short of amazing. And I see how many hours, like her hands are just like she's getting these videos together and it still takes her hours. Do you know the kind of work and how she produces those videos? It would take us like probably 3 to 4 times the length to get that quality of work. Like she works so fast and it still takes her so long. Like those little 3-minute clips you guys get from Chronicles of Olivia probably took her several hours to produce. Like that's why I like the raw. I kind of just throw you guys the raw stuff, the raw footage. I think, we just have different styles, and she likes hers being perfect and pretty and entertaining and jaw-dropping and catching, where I just kind of give you guys the real, you guys just get the raw footage. I do very limited editing on my stuff. I mean, literally, I may clip out some gaps and stuff like that, but other than that, I don't have the patience to be Olivia. I don't have the patience to be her. She's got the patience of a saint. I love that girl. She's got the patience of a saint. All right, guys, so let's get on with our daily news updates. Like I said, I really wanted to give you guys just a little bit of updates because, to be honest with you, we've been focusing so much on him. I don't want other cases to lose their focus. There are so many cases we still have to advocate for, even when we're focusing a lot of our attention on one. This channel personally is focusing a lot of attention on this child right here because we're putting together search efforts. And that's kind of where I've been with this situation. I'm monitoring the parents. I'm looking at the parents' behavior. Of course, Chris and Katie's behavior is short of atrocious. I don't know how to express it. It's like when we got into this, we didn't want to believe that thank you, Sonia. God bless you. I know I think you guys are already subs. I don't know how to work TikTok, so we're just going to have to, I'm going to have to figure it out when I'm not on a live, but we'll get that figured out. But their behavior has been short of atrocious, and it's not like I want to come here and say a parent has done anything to their child or anything. None of it. Who raise your hand if that's what you want this story to be. I mean, come on. I mean, we're human beings here. We don't want any parent doing anything to their child. We want parents to love their kids. We don't. I think. Can you imagine if we didn't have to have any child services? I mean, or the alphabet soup of Department of Children and Family Services. I would love not to have to fund a freaking governmental department, which fails anyways. But it's all about saving at least one. Yay. Is there one saved? I don't know. I'm not getting into that talking point at this moment. But the bottom line is this boy, the reason why we're involved is because we're trying to put together search efforts. I've been scouring over maps. I've been scouring over everything. But there are a lot of cases that we've been covering from the very beginning that we have not been able to really talk about in a while. And like Elijah Vu. Another one is Crystal Rogers. I need to dive back into the Crystal Rogers case and find out an update on the Crystal Rogers case. We have, Madeline Soto. We have new updates on Madeline Soto. Stefan Stearns was finally indicted in her death. And I didn't know when that was coming. But I'm glad it's here. But it's definitely definite. I mean, he's now officially charged. And a few of the people had asked I gotta be honest with you, and I don't know how to say this nicely. Everybody wants me to put everything in just a sweet pink bow tie and stuff like that, which I don't. I'm just a blunt person. But I just don't like media. I don't like media. Had I had more time to get out there and didn't have the car problems, I would have been there peppering them with some questions, some real questions. They couldn't answer a lot of questions. So why didn't they put things in hypotheticals? Why didn't they ask questions in third persons? So law enforcement can answer some of the questions or at least give you an evaluation. And it didn't. We got handed, it's just like they don't think outside of the box in the questioning. It just drives me nuts. Okay, I'm sorry, it does. So we got a whole bunch of, I can't answer that. It goes to the heart of the investigation, blah, 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 blah. You guys can get that once discovery is initiated and started engaged in by the defendant's counsel. Then the public records laws change, blah, 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 blah. So nothing, right? But that's not necessarily true. Because here's a couple things that I gleaned from that whole entire press conference. There's nothing there, guys. I gotta say, it was a hideous press conference, totally waste of time. But you know me, I always find something, don't I? I do. And it comes to Jennifer Soto. I think Jennifer Soto is going to end up being charged with something. I think her charge is going to probably more be in line with negligence and endangerment, but I don't think it's going to be what Stefan is charged with by any stretch of the imagination. There are a few reasons that I have that. I feel like a broken record, but I know that sometimes when I talk on here, people are different. So that you know, the people that were here yesterday probably may or may not be the people here today. So there was a point where we found out in this story where Stefan had actually threatened to unalive himself in front of Jennifer. And her friend says that she basically acted like it was no big deal. And it unnerved her friend so much that her friend refused to go over there and basically ended her friendship with Jennifer because of this event that happened with Stefan. And she was very pointed in saying that Jen seemed almost like this was a normal occurrence. And so by those statements and those statements alone, I think that Jennifer failed her duty of care for her daughter because she knew that Stefan was unstable at the time. She knew he was carrying a pew-pew. She knew that it was possible that he had threatened to unalive, and she didn't turn that in. He could have done it later, and she failed to protect her child against those dangers and threats. And so it's things like that I think Jennifer is going to have to answer for, as opposed to what Stefan is being charged with right now. And that's just kind of where I feel this is going on. Also, this is Tyler Wallace. This is Madeline Soto's biological father. His wife, Tatiana, says that they had just had Maddie Soto in their care in October, and Madeline didn't tell them anything. They have been riddled with grief over this because they just wish she would have told somebody, and they didn't. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew that, you know, these are other reasons. You know, I don't know if Tyler and Jennifer got into it, and he said, you know, no, you're not keeping my daughter any longer. Look at my daughter. I didn't have her. Look, you know, she's gone. And Jennifer just, you know, decided to give the ashes through, I know they were exchanged through attorneys, but I don't know what prompted the exchange. But it does bother me as a woman, you know, that she would give her daughter's ashes to his father, all of them. You know, why isn't she keeping her daughter with her? It just seems like a mother's like, I don't know if something happened to me, I don't know if my mom could part with me like that. I'm just saying. So that kind of gave me a little indicator that she might already know she's going to jail and would rather Maddie be with her father than without her. Which I kind of believe, but in this press conference, the investigator said, or the state attorney said, the investigation is still ongoing. This is not over. And this was when asked specifically whether Jennifer was going to be charged in this crime. They further said that once the discovery is initiated and the defense starts engaging in the discovery, that we, the public, will start being entitled to some of that under our public record laws here in Florida. I did review the indictment on the Osceola County Clerk website, and I did download all of that. And he has been indicted. Still not a whole, thank you, love. Still not a whole lot there. Not anything that to really garner any good information or intel or, you know, something that gets my wheels spinning to kind of give me direction on what's going on behind the scenes. So there's none of that there. So anything that anybody's telling you is all pure speculation at this point. So be sure that thank you, Val. God bless you. So be sure, if you guys are listening to stuff, be very careful and make sure, if you think it's true, ask, is this your opinion? Because I'm hearing a lot of people thinking there's certain things that, or aspects that are accurate, true, and correct when that was just that person's opinion. So just be very, very careful. You're not assuming something to be factual when it really is just a hypothetical. They're still discussing the fact of the case to see if this case will be DP eligible. According to the state attorney, it's too early on in their investigation to make that assessment. I honestly, personally believe that this is in the state of Florida. I'm sorry, but we here in the South handle our business a little differently. There's no way that this is not going to be DP eligible, or this is not going to be a capital case here in the state of Florida. I've lived here my entire life, and I know how Florida rolls. And this, nope. So I can tell you with almost 100% certainty, I don't really care what the state attorney says. I can almost tell you with 100% certainty, this will be a capital crime, period. There is no way. I can tell you, if he's not charged as a capital crime, Osceola will not get sleep. People would be in an absolute uproar. That's how we roll here in the state of Florida. Sorry. And if that offends people, again, sorry. I ain't trying to offend you, but we handle our business a little differently here. It is what it is. So, yep, some people from Alabama. You guys know how the South, we don't play when it, like, we can deal with a lot of BS, the substances, the petty, thefts and stuff like that. I don't want to be housing, people that steal candy bars 3 times and are now felons. I don't want to house them for 5 years for, under $100 worth of merchandise. I'm sorry. I just don't care whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I am not going to cut my nose off to spite my face, okay? They need work programs, okay? They don't need prison cells. So I'm very attuned with everything that is going on here in the state of Florida, but we here in the South, we when it comes to our children, when it comes to violence of our children, like, I'm just a little, if you guys really actually saw me, like, I'm 5'0". And, like, I'm one of those, like, give me a cleaver and give me as, what, that's how us ladies in the South would be. You ain't getting away with nothing. You about to be short, and I'm telling you, really short. So there's prerequisites to being charged. Someone in the cop. Yeah, but here in the state of Florida, he just got charged with murdering a kid. I mean, there's and the events surrounding, like, the 400. This man, if he's no. Mm-mm. He'll be on DR for many years. He's going there. They've got him literally in a car with her deceased on video. Yeah, he's done. I mean, literally stick a fork in him. He is toast. The man's done. And he better get used to life, because that until the date of, Cution, until the date of Cution, right? He's gonna be he's gonna be sitting there thinking of this little girl. And you know what? I pray to God it's not any kind of happy things, because that's what makes me so sick. The reason why he had those images on his phone was to relive that stuff when she wasn't around, and you know it. You know it. It makes my stomach frickin' turn. The amount of time 100% guilty people spend on DR is sickening. Yeah, it is. It is. Too bad they won't let other prisoners I know. But you know what? We're more humane than the people that we charge these crimes over. I'm a very I'm one of those barbaric type of people. I really am, and I'm proud to say that. I'm a very barbaric person. I'm an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I'm that barbaric. So I truly believe that you should go out how you took somebody out. That's me. And I think it should be public. I think if more people saw the ending result of certain crimes, I think it would kibosh a lot of it. We shelter our people from entirely too much. Entirely too much. This is real life that's censored here in America. If you don't believe me, just look at go on here live, have a larger platform and have a little jelly belly out there with a stick up their butt, right? And they try to censor even things that we're talking about here in PG language, right? In PG language. This is stuff people need to know about. This is absolute stuff people need to know about. And I think that America is being too sheltered, and it's making each and every person vulnerable. People should have some fear going outside of their home this day and age. They absolutely should. And this outside being trying to make you feel all safe because it makes them feel better, or they don't want to know how bad they're failing, that's not my problem. But this is a freaking crazy ass world out here, and we have monsters that live among us. And you need to be vigilant. Period. You got a new boyfriend? You research the heck out of that person. Any red signs? Any red flags? Kick rocks. Don't let this be your story because you want to have your head in the stand. This is not unique to Madeline Soto. This is happening literally all over the country. If you do not believe me, believe Google. Go to Google, type in SA, child. Right? Child. Or abuse, child. Or abuse, child missing. Do your research. Learn keywords. It is disgusting. I have pages and pages and pages and pages of crap like this going on in our country in every single freaking state. It's enough to make you sick. Half the crap I can't even produce on any social media platform. Even here in New England. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is one case that rose to the level that we can discuss on this platform. There are so many cases I can't discuss here, and I get censored on YouTube for talking about because the details are so freaking depraved, and these are our children. And these are our children at the hands of monsters we've allowed into our own home, including, but not limited to, this young boy right here, because I truly believe that if Katie Proudfoot never met Christopher Proudfoot, this boy right here would still be here. He would not be missing. We have dangers and threats coming from all angles, and you know who the actual victims are? It's all of these darn children. This is Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was in his mother's care, according to his mother. And of course, every time we turn around, because we are trying and working hard to be smarter than a fifth grader, right? And fun fact, we are getting there. We are learning a lot. People are starting to open up. We're starting to get some information, and we're starting to learn that it is plausible by a source inside of that community, inside of that housing community, that saw Chris's pickup truck up until Sunday, up until 9 p.m. Sunday night. So we are now getting a little bit closer because we know we've been lied to. I said there was no possibility that a man works all week at a construction site and has the option of driving 3 hours to sit in his recliner, sleep in his bed, lay next to his wife, and pop suds watching his TV. I didn't believe it. And he kept professing. He was in Memphis. He was 3.5 hours away. You know, he was nowhere to be found. And of course, our beautiful Katie Proudfoot, the mother of the year, you know, she was the only one home with her son. Then we started getting a little wind that, you know, things weren't as they seemed. And we started looking at this case from a different lens. Is it possible those 3 a.m. flashlights weren't people leaving, but somebody coming or sneaking back in? Like Katie Proudfoot after helping her husband. What we learned last night is I do know that Katie has spoken over the weekend. I did another interview over the weekend. I have not personally previewed that. If anybody has it off the top of their hands or head, please send it over to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. But I was watching Court TV. And according to Vinnie Politan, just love Vinnie Politan, just big shout out always to Vinnie Politan with Court TV. He says that Katie is acknowledging that she's getting updates daily from law enforcement. Updates daily, which is a surprise to me. I've never heard maybe questioning daily. Yeah, I can understand her being questioned daily, but updated daily. Law enforcement's never been good at updating. Out of all these cases, I got to throw this out to my audience. We have almost 500 people in chat. By the way, guys, these things are sponsored by our subscribers. And when I first realized that the subscriptions were on, I really do appreciate all of the love and support. If you guys would love to sponsor these daily updates, please consider $2.99 a month sponsorship. I love you guys. God bless you. But we work really hard behind the scenes. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this enough to hit that subscription button. Thank you guys so very much, and God bless you. But he's saying that they're getting daily updates for a show of hands in here, or maybe ones and twos. That's what I do over YouTube, ones and twos. How many truly believe that law enforcement is great about keeping everybody updated? If you believe law enforcement is amazing, right? Amazing about keeping everybody updated, put a 1 in the chat. If you think, yeah, that doesn't sound like law enforcement at all, put a 2 in chat. Exactly. There you go. Yep. I know I usually have at least a 1 in here. Does anybody, don't be shy, be honest. Oh, thank you. God bless you, whoever's giving me those. Oh, God bless you too. Okay. Wow. I don't think I have anybody over here. No ones at all. No ones at all, guys. Thank you. God bless you. I haven't seen, has anybody seen a 1 in here? I haven't seen a 1. Oh my gosh. So, we have 525 people, and out of 525 people, I have not seen a single one. So, okay. So that's what Katie says. She says she's being updated daily by law enforcement. And so, you know, Vinny asked Seth, hey, are you also getting updated, right? I mean, Katie's getting updated. Why aren't you? Are you in Tennessee yet, Charity? I'm going to need Charity to get to, no, I'm just joking. We're almost there. I had to turn the car around. My fuel pump went out. I realized that my catalytic converter that my mechanic here told me I needed to replace probably didn't need to be replaced. It was the fuel pump. So after $1,700, I got stranded on the side of the road, 3.5 hours away from home. I was in the backwoods. I was stranded in the middle of nowhere, like nowhere. There weren't even houses around. There was one lonely hotel and a McDonald's that I couldn't get to because it was over the interstate, and a gas station that I didn't need because I didn't have a car. So I was stranded. So I stayed two days at a hotel. $700 later, I'm back on the road heading home because the car still is not running right. So I got a computer coming, a new computer for the car. It's right there on the top. I've got it pre-programmed. I'm plugging in, change a spark plug out, and we're getting on the road. But I'm almost there. Almost. We're getting there. We need some $2.99 subscriptions, okay? Come on now, let's hit that like button. No. So anyways, but seriously, we will be out there. It's just I'm probably postponed yet another week. Like it's taken me 2 months to get out to this case. I have never in my life. I had to woo-saw a lot, okay? To say the least. So Seth's saying he's not getting daily updates. That's what he told Vinny. So I still find it pretty odd because there's two parents here. Why would one parent be getting these updates but the other one not be getting these updates? Especially when law enforcement clearly knows these families are not communicating, right? It is like you can cut the air with a knife of the tension that these two families in a room produce. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Oh, she got it to work. Yay. Can I pin that? I don't know if I can pin. There we go. People are always asking. Thank you. God bless you. I don't understand either. So Katie gave an interview over the weekend. And I didn't see that interview over the weekend. So if somebody has that, please send it to my email at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'd like to preview that before I comment on it. But, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. One thing I've noticed about all these interviews that Katie and Chris, I didn't notice it at the beginning. Like the very first interview with Katie and Chris, we just had that uneasy feeling. No big deal, And I always equate that, and I always have to step back because I'm like, we're from the true crime community. We're always sus, right? The most innocent thing we can turn into a mountain. It's like we are ultra sus. We are the most skeptical people in the frickin' free world. And we were skeptics when we were watching that interview, but to the tune of what kind of has unfolded now, and I'm looking back to that. You're talking about people that were highly manipulating way up front. But the problem is now looking back, hindsight 2020, that initial interview came 8 days after Sebastian disappeared. I don't think that resonated with me or even clicked in my brain as being a problem. But let's think about this. Let's put this in perspective. Your child is missing. You're going to wait 8 solid days before you allow mainstream media in your home to start talking about your child? Within 24 hours, most parents are all over the news begging for their child to come home, and it took them 8 days. That should have been our first clue, and we didn't catch it. We just didn't catch it. We were so focused on the interview ourselves, we never looked at why did it take them so long? And then when we started hearing them, all these interviews coming out, you never really heard them say anything really nice or amazing about this young man. He was an autistic boy, a high-functioning autistic boy that had a chromosome deletion issue as well. Like, he was a happy boy that was functioning, that was healthy, that was, gelling well with his environment. He had great teachers and role models, and it seemed like he had a really good life. But when he went home, his parents made his life a living hell because he wasn't normal. And they punished him for that. If he didn't clean his room right, they would bag up everything and throw it away. Like, I'm a normal person, right? I'm a normal human being that functions fairly. What's normal? Okay, I hear you guys laughing. Stop. I am normal, a little bit. But something like that would hurt me. Think of us at 15 years old and watching our parents take everything out of our room in a garbage bag and throw it away. That, I don't know, that would almost cause me PTSD. And I don't have these disabilities that Sebastian, that to me is abuse. That's the bad part about a mental abuse is, and I say this all the time, I've been mentally abused. I've been physically abused. I've been abused in horrible ways. Some of it was contributed to my own lifestyle because of childhood trauma, And I got to tell you, I would take the physical abuse over the mental anguish because that mental stuff, it gets in your head and it just sticks there. It just doesn't go away. You know, the bruises go away, the scars heal up, but that mental crap, it just sticks. It never gets easier. And so that right there is what I'm talking about. That to me is the most meanest mental abuse you can do to an autistic child. You know, the whole snake thing. He's an autistic boy. He's going to need help with any animal or reptile or whatever he chooses as a pet. He's going to need help. If the parents aren't on board with the help, shame on them. It's not shame on this boy for not doing this or not doing that. This is a point that they could be doing for family building, you know, and a family setting, you know, like, everybody, let's go feed the snake, you know. It could have been something that the family partook in as a family, instead of being a contentious part in the household to punish Sebastian yet again. I guarantee Chris believes, because if you look at some of these photos, he looks like a normal kid. Okay? He looks like a normal kid. And I honestly believe that Chris truly thought, you know, the kind of mental nutcase this jackoff is, probably said, oh, he could help it if he wanted to. Because he doesn't understand. Because he's a jackoff. The mom is to blame. You know me, I blame. Yeah, absolutely. I do. Yeah, I absolutely. Mom's at fault here. I mean, it doesn't matter who hurt this boy. Mom had the absolute utmost, you know, she's freaking Navy. Mama, like, she should have been Mama Bear, like, infected with rabies, on steroids, foaming at the mouth, taking Chris like freaking Bam Bam on Fred Flintstone and going, whack, 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 right? She ain't doing it. She's sticking by her man. She's getting herself a new motorcycle, don't you know? Oh, don't want to mess up that motorcycle ride, girlfriend. So we got 2 PIs hired by Seth. He was on Vinnie Politan's show on Court TV last night, and he's saying Sebastian Army is strong. He's using the money from the GoFundMe. Guys, go out there. If you you know, I'm strong, a dollar will do type of gal. You know, if you got a buck, I throw a buck at it. You know, if that's all you can afford, throw a buck at it. If you got a couple extra bucks, throw a couple extra bucks. Everybody do your part. Seth is hiring 2 private investigators. He's taken out of the GoFundMe account. So, you know, obviously these PIs aren't cheap. The stuff that he needs isn't cheap. You know, can't constantly, trust me, I ordered flyers before, colored flyers. Holy crap, from a 1 hour. You guys need to lower your prices. My God, I know you guys need to keep in business this day and age, but holy crap. I got 200 pages, 250 flyers for Layla Santinella, 1 hour printing sent directly to her so she could get posting. And they cost this channel like $150. I'm like, what? That's just too damn expensive. You know, it really is. You know, we need some philanthropy here. Okay? Some people out in Hendersonville, we need some real philanthropy here. We need some signs and some posters and some, you know, some businesses that have some deeper pockets that can afford, you know, $1,000 worth of merchandise, you know, for a good cause. Come on, step up to the plate. Let's get this stuff rolling out here. But I guarantee Chris looked at this boy right here and said, oh, he's faking it. He could do this if he wanted to, you know. He's not a nice guy. He doesn't look like a nice guy to me. You know what? He reminds me of somebody. He reminds me of somebody in my life. So I know his type. I don't believe that he's been working anymore for whatever reason. I believe that him and Katie are really thick as thieves right now. I don't think he'll let Katie out of his sight. I really don't. I'd be surprised if he lets her out of his sight. And Katie, I'd be worried. I'd be really worried. You may not think it's going to happen to you until it does. It's time for you to come clean and fight for your son. Tell us what happened to him. That's my message to Katie Proudfoot. Tell us what happened to your son. There's not a doubt in my mind that I believe she doesn't know at this point. She's running all over with Chris. She's at a freaking motorcycle shop. What mother does that? I don't give a rat's ass. I'm sorry. No, and no. That's what's telling me she knows more than she's saying, because I don't know any mother that if their ex or their significant others trying to make them go motorcycle shopping with their missing child, I guarantee there would be the biggest fight in the history of the world going on between them two. Don't tell me that. That woman's right there in that freaking motorcycle shop. She don't deserve mercy. She doesn't deserve mercy. Neither does Chris Proudfoot. Tell us where Sebastian is. We know you know. And you know we know. You know we know. I can go on for days, literally days. We have no new information. I can tell you that based upon my experience, we are in a criminal investigation in this. Based upon my experience, Katie, Chris, and Seth would be the only persons of interest at this moment, because most likely they have already cleared all the RSOs. So don't think that I'm not sitting here saying that they would be looking at the RSOs. I guarantee they've already cleared all the RSOs. I guarantee it at this point. CP, the threatened divorce because he didn't want Sebastian around. Absolutely. He is the only one, like who had means and opportunity. They both did. Both Chris and Katie both had means and opportunity, okay? Even Seth, in part, had means and opportunity. Could he have hired somebody? Of course. The man doesn't make enough to hire somebody for some op like this. But hey, you know what? Let's throw it in there just to make everybody freaking happy, right? But I don't believe it. But let's throw it in there. Who has the motive? That's the problem. All three of them have means and opportunity, so freaking what? What motive would they have to hurt this boy? None of them have a motive. There's only one person in this entire story of all these people that have a motive. And that's Christopher Proudfoot. Whatever happened, he did it. Katie's helping him clean it up, period. That's I should take it back. That's one of the theories. The other theory is just the opposite of that. And I got to remember, because I've got one of my mods, Pebbles, and she has made a valid point and a valid case about Katie being the one that lost her shit. It's plausible that the roles are reversed. But do you notice the situation? The story hasn't changed, and the main players haven't changed. Who may have done this or who may have done that? That's up for speculation. But I don't see it not being one of the two, based on everything we know as factual information. I believe the biggest key piece of information or evidence is the lack of evidence in this case, because to me, that is screaming cleanup. That is screaming from the rooftops, cleanup. No 15-year-old boy that's autistic that walks out of the house without shoes is not going to leave a trace of evidence. No possibility in my world. No possibility. So if you guys would like, please go over. You guys can Google it. I just Googled, I think Seth Rogers, GoFundMe, Sebastian Rogers or something like that. And it was literally the very first link up there for Sebastian's GoFundMe. That will be helping. You know, you guys know that Seth has been going through some medical issues. You can tell his shoulder's constantly hurting. He's constantly moving that one shoulder. So I can tell it really is bothering him, and it's really bothering him when he's sitting for too long and talking about talking on those interviews. He hasn't really been working because he's been spending all of his time looking after, trying to find ways to find his son, being out boots on the ground, leading charge in the search efforts, which is what I would expect from the mother, kind of like what we got from Brandy Neal with Michael Monkey Vaughn. None of that. We got none of that coming from the Proudfoots. None of that. Guys, I'm so sick, and I'm going to say this, and I don't mind parroting this. I don't mind being a broken record, and I'm going to keep saying it until it resonates with every single person. You are absolutely right. People grieve differently, okay? People's bodies are different. People have different ailments, disabilities, things not right with them. Some people don't even have tear ducts. right? You don't know what a person is dealing with. You don't know that. However, with those, you know, that's why. But for normal people that function the same way without mental defect, that doesn't have cognitive repairs, that doesn't have disabilities that prevent them from feeling emotion, grieve in similar fashions, period. These people aren't grieving. Take that BS about people grieve differently out the door, because normal people grieve a specific way, statistically speaking. Are there outliers? Yes, there are. There are always outliers. Do I believe Chris and Katie are the outliers? Hell to the nah. I don't. They just ain't grieving parents. Just ain't grieving parents. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate any love and support. Don't forget to hit that subscription button. It really does help us do this as much as possible. We try to get you guys here first. I take these and then I put them on YouTube. So you guys are getting all this breaking information first before my YouTubers. So I hope you guys appreciate them. Don't forget to support this channel. God bless each and every one of you and have a great day. This will not be the last live today. I love you.